couple hours ago when I was at Goodwill, there was a guy going through this, the CDs in there. They do state these do. I don't think they sell very many CDs, but they still have them. They've got LP records in there. I remember a number of years ago, I saw like a 5-inch reel of a quarter-inch reel-to-reel tape. You don't see that very much. You don't see very many 8-track tapes around still, but you do occasionally see them. And anyway, I just got looking through the CDs, and I told him, I said, you do know you can download most of those songs off of YouTube for free. Of course, if you really like a band, an older one, they may not, someone may not have put them here on YouTube. But anyway, this guy said, no, you can't. YouTube won't let you download stuff. And so I told the guy, I said, look, I've got a program that runs under Linux called Video Downloader that will let you download videos off of. I said I use high-speed free high-speed Wi-Fi to download it. Then I watch it. That I watch on a big screen TV at home. I try to tell the guy how you do that. It's really not that hard if you don't know. But the guy goes, "No, I'm not that tech savvy. I could never figure it out." I talked to him a little bit. And anyway, let me show you what I had in mind with that. If I can get this swung around in front of my phone, you can see this. This is a blue PAX. I can get that jug. I may or may not do that. I may figure something completely different from that. I'm going to play around with some different ideas because I bought a bunch of these at Goodwill. This is a real nice one. I got it for, I don't know, $3 or $4 something. It surprised me that that somebody else didn't want it because it's a pretty nice pack. Maybe some it's a brand I think is a brand you see like in that outdoor store that specializes in hunting gear and stuff. And maybe some guy accidentally shot and killed himself out in the forest or desert or something, and it belonged to a dead guy. That's a weird thought. Anyway, see, I was going to cover. Oh yeah, I mentioned the band Sabaton, Sabaton. Yeah, they got tons of music here on YouTube. Most of it's in English. They're a Swedish band. Now I mentioned Wacken, Wacken. Now, the German W is pronounced with a V sound, so it is Wacken. That's how you pronounce it. There's tons of stuff, from Wacken. I think it was in May. Now, the past one or two, the video, I haven't watched any video from this year, but I think in 2024 they said it would rain. It was all muddy and kind of miserable out there. So I'm going to see if I can get some stuff from 2025 and just see what it looks like. That's been on my bucket list. I may never end up going there. I'd have to get monetized and then get a passport, then make arrangements to stay over there for 3 or 4 days. I'd definitely want to bone up on my German, get it where I could maybe not pass as a native, but kind of get around with. Of course, I think most of them probably speak English anyway. But I wouldn't want to burden with my English. I'd want to, bone up on my Hock to it. So, Feely. Her, Felix from Germany, her boyfriend had gone over there. I guess she taught him, and he could speak without an American accent. But anyway, he went into a gas station, or they call those tank stellars. But anyway, he'd gone into a tank stellar, and he didn't know they were on the honor system. He thought you had to pay first. He was asking this lady, and I guess he spoke so proficiently that she thought he was from there, and she gave him a look like, dude, you should know how our. But anyway, like I said, he didn't have an accent, and she didn't know that he was an American, not from that area. Let's see, it's Sabaton and Wacken. If you want to find out, there's tons and tons of videos from the band and from that Wacken open air. If you visualize what Burning Man is like, but figure it with German rock bands. Instead of lighting a big old guy on fire, that's kind of my interpretation of Wacken. They use this cow skull with flames coming out of it as their symbol. Like I said, it's been on my bucket list for many, many years. If some chick wants to go there too, hey, let me know. Some chick may have already been there a few times and need somebody to go with her for 2026. Hey, send me an email. Let me know. Bye-bye. Love y'all. Still live in this crazy world.